I'm Foxyl and welcome to this Ragnorium guide video where I'll be going through what I do to get through the first launch, which is essentially how to play the very early game. Now this video, it's not going to be completely hardcore min-maxing, it's going to just have a few tips that I've learned through my experience with Ragnorium, and it can be helpful for beginner players or advanced players or anyone on the spectrum of your experience in Ragnorium. So let's go straight into the mission. There's no difficulty settings for Ragnorium. The difficulty is kind of based off the planet, from what I can understand. So for argument's sake, we're just going to go to planet 1, which is in my opinion by far the easiest planet, because it has a large abundance of food and resources compared to the other planets. We don't have many options when it comes to the thrusters. In this, we're going to pick 3 clones and we're going to pick 1 cargo. Now, I'm pretty much just going to pick the first 3 clones I'm going to get. I can talk about which clones are better and which tactics are better, or which what would you say like kind of passive buffs you get, because these clones get certain buffs. But I'm essentially going to be showing you that you can do this with any clones. It's not particular, like you don't have to re-roll and re-roll until you get like a certain powerful clone. Like I could do this with clones that don't have any buffs whatsoever. So like this clone right here, how it doesn't have any augmentations, I should say, it would be absolutely fine. So the augmentations aren't make or break, but they definitely do help you improve. Right, now we've got into the planet loadout where we're going to pick our drop site. This is going to be a permanent drop site, so whatever you drop, this is going to be where everything drops from the future. So I would basically recommend find somewhere that has an easy location. So move your marker, your like loadout marker, your drop zone until you find easy. And the next recommendation I would give is try and find somewhere that doesn't have massive mountains around it. So like for example, this place here, like imagine that's at easy. You wouldn't want to drop there because what's going to happen is you're going to have objectives spawn around you, and it's always going to spawn on like one side or the other of the mountain. So it's just going to give you like really long awkward pathways to travel for your objectives, and it's just kind of annoying. So if you can find somewhere that's flat. Alright, now that we've landed, what I would recommend doing is just pausing the game, and I would open up your clones, and this is where, like, I'm not going to min-max it, but generally just have a look at your clones and look at what buffs they have. What skills they have, sorry. These are the skills. Their augmentations is down here, so this is the augmentation that you see when you start the game. Thirst Decay, so they're good against Thirst, Max AP. We have a little bit of AP down here. And we have a little bit of life. The only reason I say that is sometimes you get some clones who are a little bit better for doing damage or attacking, and clones who are a little bit better for not doing damage. So in terms of this, it doesn't really matter which clones I have, so I'm just going to use these 3 as if they were any clones. But if you want to min-max a bit better, you can kind of like, if you have a clone that just does a lot of damage, then make sure that clone's fighting. But for now, I'm going to treat these clones as if they're all identical. The first thing you want to do is wake up all your clones. Where are you, sir? Hello, hi. And I'm going to pause again. What we're going to do is we're going to make 1 clone pick up this computer. So go to colony, your quantum computer. So we'll just make the captain do it, because why not? Go to equipment, portable, quantum. All you need to do is stand relatively close to it. So all your clones should be relatively close. The next thing we want to do is go to objectives down here. You want to click on first cut. So just to give you an idea, the objectives we're going to do is first cut, then wood hoarder, then primitive crafting, then campfire, then flint. Then we're going to do Shrine of Fire and then Skill Capsule. That's going to be the order, but I'll show you now. You're going to click on First Cut. The next thing you want to do is zoom out. You're going to go to Construction Zone and pick your construction area. I recommend picking somewhere that's flat. It doesn't have too many resources around it. And you want to avoid this object right here, because these road objects you cannot move. So in terms of my area, that's a big mountain. Elevation ruins your building, so stay away from elevation. It looks like we might go here. That's a bit messy. We only have a tree there. That should be fine. So pick your zone. Once you have your zone, or once you have your construction area, pick a resource zone. This is where you're going to gather all your resources. I would recommend putting it on the border, on the outside of your construction zone. So don't put it inside, because that's a waste. So any area outside, it looks like we can probably just go right here. Throw down a few. You can really move these around if you really want to, but I just put them next to each other. Next, we want to go to research. There's only 1 research available. Click on Genesis. And then 1 clone is going to go to here. You're going to harvest, and 2 clones are going to harvest wood that's close to your resource zone. So we're going to say cut tree, cut tree. So do that left click on the tree, then right click. Now left click on the clone, then left click on the tree, right click on the tree, and then it'll give you that menu. Or you can just right click on the tree. So you, my friend, you're researching. I actually don't want you to do that. I'm just going to force you to cut this tree by doing this. Now all we do is wait. So the first objective is going to be first cut. That's going to say cut 5 pieces of wood. The next objective is wood hoarder, and that's going to say cut 8 pieces of wood. Now all that means is you two are going to stay here until you've done both wood objectives, and that's going to be those 2 objectives done really nicely. You need to have 1 clone harvesting straight away, because we're going to need to get a resource out of this cargo zone, this cargo drop, which is called stone. And stone is generally rare to find, so you're best off getting stone from your cargo. And you need stone to build your first construction, which is going to be your primitive construction, which you're going to get very soon. So for now, I'm just going to skip through, and I'll come back once we've done those 2 objectives. First cut is finished, so now we're just going to activate the next objective, which is Wood Hoarder. And we're just going to do the same thing, just sit here and wait. Now that our first research is finished, so we've just finished Genesis, we're going to go straight to Basics. So Campfire Basics. Let that finish. Alright, now that Wood Hoarder is finished, you're going to complete that objective. Next thing you want to do is go up here. You want to go to Primitive Campfire. Now we haven't finished that objective just yet, we're still researching. So what you want to do now is cancel these 2 from cutting the trees, and just let them gather all these resources and store them. So one thing I should mention is that when you have resources on the ground, it doesn't actually count in your inventory or your storage. So at the moment we have our resources up here, 14 wood, 2 bottles, 1 stone. These resources right here, we're carrying a lot of energy drinks and wood. These don't count until it's actually stored here. So when things are on the ground, make sure you spend some time to make sure that they're stored in your resource zone before you continue forward. Right, so now we have a building to build. We have primitive crafting. Let's get this built. Let's build. I generally try to build this really close to my resources because you need to take your resources to this crafting zone. So if the crafting is right next to the resources, then that can be done really quick. Prioritize that. Right, our research is finished. So now we're going to pick the next research. We're just going to be up here. We're going to go to research, and we want to go to primitive crafting basics. Primitive crafting blueprints, sorry. Like that. Unpause this. We finished our campfire, so let's go to campfire. I generally try to build this somewhere just a little bit away from my base. Your campfire will generate heat, and you need that, like, it kind of has a little radius. I'll show you soon. Right, now that we have our campfire is going to be built really quickly. Now it's finished. Next thing you want to do is go to objectives. Alright, I kind of got a little bit sidetracked. The next objective you need to do is primitive crafting. So this objective is completed once you complete this crafting table, which I've already done, so that should be completed straight away. Now that that's finished, I'm going to go to Stick Warriors. Activate Stick Warriors. That's going to make you build 2 sticks. You build sticks by right-clicking on your crafting table and go to Sticks right here. I personally build 3 because I want each clone to have a stick, so it doesn't matter that I build an extra one. Now we have 1 clone researching. The next thing we want to prioritize is gathering leaves. So click on 1 clone. Left click on this tree. Right click on it and go to shake. Alright, now that Stick Warriors is finished, our next objective is going to be flint. Now before we activate flint, I want 3 sticks to be completed. Right, that means I want every clone to have a weapon, and then I'm going to send them all down to do flint. Because we have 2 enemies right here, and these enemies are pretty powerful, especially this enemy right here. This little glowing aura, or this like AoE around it, means that this enemy is going to do 45% increased stagger. And stagger just means you're likely to get stunned. So now that research is finished, go back to research. Next thing we want to get is going to be homopathy. Homopathy is how you unlock bandages, and bandages is going to be the main thing that stops you doing objectives where you trade health. Objectives where you trade health is essentially objectives that have an enemy, which is going to be the last couple of objectives. So Flint is going to have an enemy. If we go back to objectives, skill capsule and Shrine of Fire will have enemies as well. So the sooner I can unlock bandages, the more buffer I have to make mistakes. We've just finished our final weapon. So now we want to pause the game. I want to equip every clone with a weapon. You do that by left clicking on the clone. Go to equipment. Go to weapon slot. Stick. So you can do this up here. Click on profile. You're already under equipment. Weapon slot. Stick. Profile. Same thing. Now that everything's complete and we have our weapons, let's run down and get this attack going. So what we want to do is run. Okay, that's not supposed to happen. You aggro from very far away. So normally you'd try to kill one at a time, but we haven't done that properly. So we're going to take a little bit more damage than what we should. But because everyone has equipped, everyone has a weapon, that was pretty easy. So at the start of the game, these stick essentially doubles your damage. So now we want to complete this objective. You only need 1 clone. So the way you want to do that is click over here. You want to click which clone you want to complete. I'm going to click the person with the full health. Hopefully the other 2 will heal. Press play. This clone will automatically run to this direction and complete this objective, which is going to take time. These 2 clones should now run back to the base and complete something else. So you, my friend, can come back here, and we might as well start our crafting while we wait. So in terms of crafting, what you want to do is craft your sandals first. So let's give one clone each. And then, what are you doing? Are you stuck? You're getting healed. Awesome. This objective is finished. Make sure when you finish flint, you take one clone and pick up the flint, because you need to grab this flint before you can start a fire. So you only really need one. I just grabbed two for the sake of running this far and grabbing something on the way back. Alright, now we have that objective finished. We're going to go to the next objective. These two are similar difficulty. You have Shrine of Fire and Skill Capsule. Let's do Shrine of Fire first. So whereas this objective, it's over here. We have a bunch of worms, so we're going to send everyone again. Let's go to locate. Let's grab everyone. Let's go straight to this objective. Let's try and avoid these little eggs over here. Let's just go this way. So when you do these objectives, you want to try and single out enemies and defeat them one at a time. This is going to minimize your damage. And if you really want to go that next level, try and stack all your damage on one clone. In terms of bandages, having more damage on one clone is kind of more efficient with bandages. Because if you only take one damage on every clone, you're going to need 3 bandages. But if you take a little bit more than 1 damage on one clone, you can kind of save your bandages. So if we were being a bit smarter, we would send you out the front to tank. Go, my friend. And that completely failed. Okay, so you know what? Let's just come here. I'm just going to clear them as a group, just because it's a little bit safer. I feel like you're probably not going to wake up. Let's keep you away. So who's this? Sailor? You can start doing this objective.
We can do this.
I'd recommend, whenever you go to an objective, always try and gather resources before you leave. This is because these resources are going to be gathered eventually, and it's easier to get them while you're already out there than wait until you come back to your base. So I'm going to let this objective finish, and then I'm going to come back once we're ready to start the next objective. So we had a bit of a mistake. I finished the objective, and then I clicked on the next objective straight away, Skill Capsule, but what happened was that objective spawned right here. So instead of going back to heal and waiting until we had full health, we're going to be attacked by these 2 enemies straight away. So we're going to have to adapt our plan a little bit, and come back. So moral of the story here, when you go to your objectives, don't click the objective until you're actually fully healed. Otherwise, this might happen to you. Okay, so make sure you don't die, so run you away. So as long as one of them doesn't die, we've successfully completed this day. Sailor to tank, come here, my friend. You're at the front. Okay, nice. Let's get Sailor to complete this. And this is going to be your first launch finished. Okay, now that we have our 8 objectives finished, we can go to new launch, which we need 8 influence for. For the new launch, I would recommend getting 3 clones and 2 cargo drops. This is a nice balanced approach to what you're going to be doing. Essentially, I'm going to do the same thing as the last game. I'm just going to pick the first 3 clones. So I'm going to take you, doesn't really matter who you are. What you can do, if you want to play potentially a little bit more riskier, you could get 4 clones and 2 cargo drops. The reason I don't recommend this is that I'd rather have the level 2 cargo, or the basic cargo, versus the starter cargo, which is going to use all 80 of your points. If I was to get another clone, I'd have to get a basic cargo, which is not too bad, but having many hands is great, but I just go for a nice balanced 3 clones every drop until I have 12 clones, and then I kind of just play it by ear, and I don't generally make 2 more, because it's a nice balance I find with 12 clones. Alright, now that we've got our second launch going, or at launch 2, we have 6 clones. A rough guideline is that you can try to aim for this by around 12 o'clock of day 1. This will give you a nice strong start. You have your resources ready. You have 2 cargo drops, which you can grab all your resources from. Homopathy is almost finished, so you can get a lot of bandages going, get some bandages online. You have your crafting to get all your power online, start getting some stick weapons. It's going to be a great start for any map and any player level for Ragnorium. So I hope this helps. I've kind of skipped through a lot of the basic concepts of playing, like how to do certain things. So if you want to know more information about that, let me know and I'll make another video out of that. Otherwise, that's going to be the end of this video for Ragnorium. Foxy out, take care, be awesome, and I'll see you next time.